All right. This is a very random live stream, but I owe it. So I'm doing it. I don't know if anybody will pop in here or not. I was supposed to do this last night and I got sick. I was just in Orlando and I came back and I had to come back from Orlando to immediately do a bachelor party, which is not what you think. It's a nerd event. We just went to record stores and saw movies and stuff like that. It was a lot to do, and I got feeling sick, and I thought, oh man, I must have got the bug from somewhere. So I didn't. I tested a couple of times over a few days, and everything is good. It's just a little travel head cold, but it threw me off last night, and I actually fell asleep before the live stream was supposed to start. So I kind of blew it. So here I am to do the live stream now. And what we were supposed to talk about is movies about movies. And I love that subject. And there's so many great movies about movies. And I do see that Brian Turner had posted in here that he had just watched Matinee, which is the image, that the thumbnail. So there is that. I also have some thoughts on this announcement about the new Deadpool 3 trailer. I don't feel as enthused as a lot of people. I'm pulling up the YouTube right now just to make sure we're going fine. Yep, we're good. We're good. For a couple of reasons. Mainly, I don't trust Disney to do the Deadpool franchise justice. First off, they're not staying in canon. So the stuff that happened in the previous two movies is not canon. So they're going to reset the character the same as they're saying they're going to reset Daredevil. So I'm not thrilled about that. I think it's a mistake. Although that said, Deadpool 2 was not my favorite. Deadpool 2 was okay. The first Deadpool, though, was amazing. And I wonder what this means for Maria Baccarin, the lady from Firefly. That lady. I wonder what it means for her. I liked her in that franchise. So her future in the franchise was already in question anyway, based off what happened in Deadpool 2. But the big announcement, the big teaser, the big whatever was that Hugh Jackman is returning as Wolverine. Hate it. I know it's freaking nostalgia. You guys are all so thrilled about it. But he died in Logan, in one of the best superhero movies ever made. He's dead. Let it go. I kind of don't blame him, though. He left the franchise, and what did he do? He did The Greatest Showman, which is kind of panned as a bad movie, but also loved. So it's kind of okay. It's not my jam. I'm not a musical guy, so I don't know. And then he did that Reminiscence or whatever. I didn't see it. Sci-fi movie, like a sci-fi romance thing. It's supposed to be awful. And honestly, the trailers looked awful. So I didn't bother. So yeah, he's coming back to his comfort zone where he can make some money and be in a movie that people will actually watch. That's why he's doing it. But he's an older guy. It's kind of, it's done. I have no issue with believe me, I have no issue with older actors. I actually appreciate older actors and actresses, but it's not even his age. It's just like he's done it a lot. And then he capped it beautifully in Logan, which I'm sure all of that's not going to be canon also. All Disney wants to do is trade on the actors, the nostalgia people have for the actor, and then do their own story. Well, then do your own actor. Like, bring in somebody else. So I'm not thrilled about it. I'm not hype. I'm not here for it. And if it's not R-rated, I probably won't even bother in the theater. And that's just because it's going to be painfully obvious that Disney has watered down that character. Now, I don't think the second one I don't remember, but I don't think the second Deadpool's R-rated. They were kind of already on their way to watering it down. Like the second film wasn't nearly as racy as the first film. And that's, I just thought that was fun and funny and entertaining. And so I'm sure that'll get worse with Disney. So anyway, if you're watching this, I just started this at a random time, so I don't really expect people to pop in. So if you're watching this later, are you getting ready for your 31 days of Halloween? I'm trying to decide whether to post my list in a video here. If you want to see my 31 days of Halloween list, let me know in the comments. If enough people mention it to me, maybe I'll do a single video, or I might do like a daily update. But I am doing 2 12 hours of terror events, so I don't have to necessarily watch a movie a day, because that's 2 events where in a 12-hour span, I'll probably see about 7 films each. So in 2 nights, I'll see 14 films. So I just have to get the other, 17 or whatever watched. So I can certainly do that if you guys want to see it. So I guess I'll move forward and just show you my picks for a movie theme night based on the theme of movies about movies. Now, I'm going to actually show you a film that I want your opinion on that I haven't seen. But first, we're going to start with Lux Eterna. Now, you play this film, you're either going to like have people riveted, or people are going to get up and leave during your movie theme night. This is a Gaspar Noé film. If you know him, his movies, Irreversible and Climax, his movies are very, very, very challenging. And this is no exception to that rule. What I will say is this is only 50 minutes long. So it's fairly short for a feature film. And it follows the sort of adventures of 2 actresses, one of them from a very notorious film, Inside, and she's amazing in this. And their adventures on the set of a horror movie. And it's an emotional, visceral roller coaster ride. That doesn't seem like it would be, right? It's just people shooting a movie. But this movie has some commentary about how women are viewed and treated, exploited, shot gratuitously, treated gratuitously, off camera also, in the industry. And this is portrayed very viscerally. He uses his camera, his lighting, his editing to make you have an emotional response to the movie, similar to the lead actresses. And it's phenomenal. This is an import. I imported this from Arrow. There is a domestic version available from one of the Vinegar Syndrome partner labels. I'm not going to double dip because they're basically the same. I think the partner label version from Vinegar Syndrome has some extra music videos or something, but nothing like ridiculously crazy that makes me want to double dip. All right. So the image from the thumbnail that I had put up is from this movie, Matinee. So I think this movie was originally put out on physical, like most recently domestically by Scream Factory, but that's out of print now, so I had to import this. Stars John Goodman. It's directed by Joe Dante, and it is a fun, weird riff on William Castle. William Castle was the guy in this particular release. You can import still, I believe. Has a DVD and a Blu-ray because it's an older release. Has some box art there. William Castle would do things in his theaters to make the movie more interactive. He would have a ghost fly across the screen, or he tried like maybe buzzing, little shock on the seats, or smell-o-vision. All that stuff comes from William Castle. Half man, half ant, all terror. That's on the back there. It's over the top and ridiculous. I recommend, if you're someone who loves classic horror, You should watch this. John Goodman is great in this movie. It's kind of become a little bit notorious, but I'm not, going to get into all of that. I'm just looking at the movie for what it is. Yeah. So for the serious movie fan, and this is really for your serious next movies. I guess it is. It's a foreign film. It's really for your serious, cinema fan, but it really isn't. If you just get anybody to sit down and watch this movie, they will love it. And it is Cinema Paradiso. This is probably one you've heard the name of a ton of times and never watched. It's a story of a little theater and the families that live in the area around the theater and how the theater impacts them, especially this little guy right here. It's a drama, it's a comedy, it's a tragedy. It's beautiful. It's this movie in a way encompasses and represents everything that the movies they watch in the theater talk about. Everything is represented in the story. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I was so happy to get to actually see a retrospective on this film and filmmaker and be able to see the movie in the theater. This is a standard release from Arrow, but I actually was sent a 4K screener, so I shoved it in the box. Like I said, it comes off as an art house film, but if you just get your friends who maybe aren't as filmy as you are to sit down and watch it, it's just a beautiful drama. There won't be a dry eye in the house. Cinema Paradiso. There is a domestic release of this movie also, so you don't have to import it. There's a little booklet in here. It's a very nice release from Arrow Video. I think this movie deserved an even better release. This is one of the most important movies about movies out there. There's another movie that I don't own in the collection because it's kind of hard to come by, that may be just as important, called Goodbye Dragon Inn. I keep waiting to see if we're going to get a nice domestic release, but I don't think we're gonna. So I may have to import that one. And if you guys want to hear about that one, let me know. I'll be happy to go over that with you. Now, this next movie I'm going to talk about very briefly because I do not want to spoil it. But this is the most movie about movie making that is out there. I just love it so much. It is One Cut of the Dead. Even the director of the film says do not watch the trailer. This is a movie about people, a ragtag group of people making a horror movie in the middle of they're making their own horror movie during a zombie infestation. That's literally all I'm going to say to you about it. This movie literally brings a tear to my eye every single time I watch it. It's so beautiful. And if you're someone who loves movies and the art of movie making, you have to watch it. Even if you don't like horror movies. So, all right. So I want to do one documentary. And this is Filmworker. There are a lot of great documentaries that are related to movies. Lost in La Mancha is one. I don't have that one in my collection yet, but when I come across it, I will. But this is basically about the man behind the man. This is a documentary about Stanley Kubrick's lifetime filmmaking partner. No, relationship between them outside of filmmaking. I mean, I think they probably did treat each other like family, but in fact, this guy is still around. He was responsible for managing the 4K restoration of 2001: A Space Odyssey. He was initially an actor in Barry Lyndon and ended up working in a variety of capacities throughout Stanley Kubrick's career. And this is such a fascinating way to look at Stanley Kubrick's career from the eyes of one of the most important people in his career. It's just a different perspective to look at all of these classic films that this guy helped make. He helped Stanley make. I saw this in the theater when it came out. Loved it. It's beautiful. And it's highly recommended. If you're the type of if you have the type of friends and family that will watch documentary, you could include this in a movies about movies night. If you need something a little more comedic and light, then find you a copy of Lost in La Mancha, although that one's a filmmaking tragedy for reals. All right, so those are my primary picks. I know this is going to be a short video, but I owed it to you guys. I wanted to drop in here and just give you a video. I want to ask about a movie that I got and I haven't had a chance to watch. I'm really dragging on my commitment to watching something new. If I get something new, I try to watch it within 2 weeks in case I don't like it. But I've had a lot going on. And this is an import film. I got it from a partner label from Vinegar Syndrome. Love this slipcover, you guys. I love it. It's so pretty. It's called The Last Matinee. And the only things I really know about it is kind of an homage to 80s slasher films. It's a slasher film set inside a theater while people are watching a movie. And obviously you could go, there's so many movies on my collection that once you go this direction, you have so many options. You could watch Demons. Demons is a movie that's set inside a theater and people get possessed by the movie, kind of. You could do Popcorn. So there's a lot. I just kind of threw this into the mix because I feel like we've got a couple of hardcore choices here. We've got Lux Eterna, which is literally about making a movie. You've got Matinee, which is literally about the art of screening a movie in a theater. So those are hardcore. And you've got Filmworker, that again is a movie about making movies. And One Cut. So I wanted to throw something in there a little lighter. If you do a trilogy like I do, then maybe you throw this baby right here in there. Right? So those are my picks. What up, Andrew? Majestic. Oh, is that the Jim Carrey movie? Is that the Jim Carrey movie? I haven't actually seen that movie. I know he kind of had a downward spiral in his career. And that was kind of the movie that maybe rebirthed his career for a little bit. I haven't seen it. It's like a comedy, though, right? But yeah, I think Demons would be a really fun one to add. It's less about movies or movie theater, like movie making, but it's set in a theater and it's batshit crazy. Now, what's happening, Andrew? Or maybe I should grab my copy of Demons and show it to you guys. I mean, it really is one I should have added to this. There it is right there. So this thing is a kind of ridiculous. I imported this from Arrow Video. It actually has both Demons 1 and Demons 2 in it. You can see it. It's like a digipack kind of thing. And then on the inside, if you've seen Demons, the first one, there's a special screening that everyone gets invited to. And they get these tickets. And there's a creepy dude handing out this ticket. So it was so cool to have this in the package. And then inside the digipack is both of the films. Oh, bumped the mic pretty good there. And yeah, so this movie it's kind of known for its Motley Crue soundtrack. Also, the band Motley Crue did a soundtrack. This particular release has a killer, like, hardback book with it. And of course, it's Arrow, so it's got that poster too. But yeah, so seemingly random people get invited to this special sneak preview screening of a movie. And during the movie, they slowly turn into demons. Definitely demons, not a zombie movie at all. It's a hardcore demon thing. It's got some like ridiculous, incredible practical effects in it. And it's got to be the deepest movie theater there is. There's so many rooms and stuff behind the scenes of this movie theater. but it starts in a theater, so it counts. So it counts, right? There you go. So, Demons. The Last Matinee. I don't know how to say that. Al Moyer La Matinee. I don't know. I'm not that guy. One Cut of the Dead. Definitely. Film worker, because every great movie theme night about movies and movie making should have a documentary. There's so many. Matinee. William Castle. And Lux Eterna. And that's the one you run people off with. That's when you're ready for people to go home because they've overstayed their welcome. Put in Lux Eterna, and they will be so emotionally worn out and destroyed that they'll be ready to leave your house. That's how you end your movie theme night, right? Oh, you said there's not so much comedy in it. Okay, so it's probably Majestic is more of a drama. Yeah, I don't know why I haven't gotten around to it, because if it's about movie making or about movie theaters, I really want to see it, and for some reason that's just a movie that has kind of eluded me. I should really do a subset within my collection of movies that are set around the movie theater, because there's so many good ones. Movies about movie making. If we went to documentary, my favorite documentary of all time is called American Movie. And it's literally about a guy who's trying to make a short film. And it's hilarious. Oh, cool. So you've seen Matinee also. It's kind of hard to find now. I don't it's out of print. It was a Shout Factory or Scream Factory or whatever, and it went out of print, and now you can't really find it. I keep thinking that someone's going to do a new domestic release, but I'm not sure. So I imported this. You got to have an all region player for this baby, though. Yep. All right, let's see. All right, so those are my picks, guys. Actually, added an extra one to the pile there, and if I got off my butt and went to get it, I'm just not sure where it is in the shelf right now. I put American Movie in that. Oh, forgot to Cinema Paradiso. That's kind of like the gold standard of movies about movies and movie theaters. I'm very interested in the new Steven Spielberg movie, The Fablemans. I really hope that movie is not too saccharine sweet, because the trailer tries really hard to be super saccharine and super sweet. Really, it's kind of a fantasy version of Steven Spielberg's life. He's retelling the important beats of his life that kind of made him the filmmaker that he eventually became. I'm hyped for it because I love those kind of stories. I can relate, being a filmmaker myself on a much smaller degree. And again, it's another situation where the story is set around movie theaters and movies. It's also nostalgic too, because in the 80s, if you look at 80s movies, no one did the true middle-class family in cinema better than Spielberg. You look at E.T. or Close Encounters of the Third Kind, he really had that vibe down. He was really able to translate his own family experiences into that setting. So I'm really hoping he can do that again and kind of get back to that with The Fablemans. I know The Fablemans struggles a little bit with having been filmed during COVID, so they had to make some changes to the movie. They had to add in probably more CGI than he would have liked to kind of cover the fact that they didn't have a lot of people in some scenes. Movie is shot on 35 millimeter and 16 millimeter film, though, so I'm really interested. Do I go to the movies? Yes, I sure do. Andrew, I do a project on here, and I haven't done an update this month. I need to do one, but I'm doing a project called Pushing 100. I don't know if you've heard of that one or not. It's something that other people have done, but basically the project is to try and see 100 new release movies in theater in 1 year. And I'm doing what my friend calls hard mode. I'm not counting retrospectives. It's only new releases. And so far I'm at 68 films. in the theater this year. I'm going to do it. I'm going to hit the 100 by the end of the year for sure. But I have the Regal Unlimited package, so I'm able to kind of go and see anything I want. And I've seen some really bad movies this year, but I've also seen some things that I normally might not have given a chance to that I had a good time with. So yeah, I go to the movies, every other week pretty much. I'd like to say I go every week, but some weeks I don't have time. But I'm doing this project by seeing multiple movies in a day. If you follow my TikTok, which is OTS Movies, I post updates as I'm in the theater on there. And sometimes I've done as many as 4 movies in one day, but usually 2 to 3 movies per visit to the theater is what I do. Yeah, so I've seen pretty much everything. Like if you look at the box office top 10 right now and have a question about any of those movies, I've seen them. I've seen pretty much everything. I've seen everything in the top 10. So I love going to the movies. I love it. Some movies, get that Regal Pass. It's awesome. I love it. Movies hit different in the theater. There's a lot of, especially horror movies and comedies, hit harder and better in the theater than they do at home. That bigger experience, the sort of hive mind, connection that we all have with the movie during those really comedic scenes or those really scary scenes. It's literally like science. There are studies happening in, I think, Germany. There was a group of scientists that were studying the hive mind experience, the shared experience that happens in the theater. You watch a movie at home on your own on Netflix, even if it's good, you'll forget about that experience. But if you watch a movie in the theater, even if it's bad, you'll still remember that experience and be able to share it. So I love it for sure. And another Regal Pass is different price tiers depending on what state you're in, and that's because some states charge more for movie tickets than others. In Nashville, it's $21 a month, which is pretty great. It's pretty great when you consider. I think the movie tickets, I believe, are $14 each. So if you see 2 movies in a month, it's worth it. So what have you seen? What are you asking me? So what have you seen this year that you really liked? A lot of things. I've seen a lot of good movies this year, but Everything Everywhere All at Once, of course. I really liked that one. I really liked X. And then I really enjoyed Pearl recently, the sequel that I just saw. So yeah, I liked all of those. There's been a number of other things. So I try to post reviews regularly. I'm gonna just be rude and pull it up on my phone real quick. Those are the ones that come to the top of my mind. But I post on my letterbox. Let's see. Let me look at my movies here, and I'll tell you, because I feel like it's kind of like base level discussion to say you liked Everything Everywhere All at Once, because everybody freaking liked that movie. I mean, and it's deserved because it's a great movie, but it's almost boring to even. Did I see Kingsman 3? I did. I did see Kingsman 3. I didn't like it. Yeah, it wasn't for me. Hey Brian, it's not your fault. I didn't announce this or anything. I got sick last night and missed the stream, and I knew I owed this video out to you guys, so I wanted to just drop in and do it really quick. So now we're just kind of chatting about movies in the theater. Top Gun Maverick was one of my favorite theater experiences this year, and it is a perfect example of a movie that is going to hit harder and hit better in the theater than it will at home. It'll be fine on home media. I will get that 4K, but that movie in the theater with all of its practical effects was stunning. It was just so much fun, and it felt weirdly fresh compared to all these CGI movies that are out right now and have been coming out for years. Seeing real planes and real action was just cool. That's cool. I'm glad you dug the Kingsman 3. I wish I had liked it. I wish I had. It just didn't work for me. Oh, thanks, Brian. I do feel better. I'm just a little congested today. I was a little concerned for a minute, because I have been in Orlando for Halloween Horror Nights, that maybe I had the bug, but turns out I don't. I've tested a couple of days in a row and we're good. It's just you know, travel cold. You know what you get sometimes. So I was trying to think. There was another movie. Oh, you know what I saw in the theater that actually was day and date. It came out streaming and it also came out in the theater. Was the new Orphan movie? I love that movie. It was so much fun in the theater. It's a bad movie, but it's bad good. It's like bad in all the right ways. I loved it so much. I also love Julia Stiles, and she's in it. Um, it I expected to hate the movie because the word of mouth was her makeup effects were kind of bad and all this, and they were, but it was really funny because they did makeup on her, and then they also shot the movie through a bunch of like retro grainy filters to try and cover the makeup a little bit. So the movie looked like it was from the late 60s, maybe early 70s. And that was unexpected. So I recommend. I did not get to see Clerks 3, Brian. I'm so upset about it because it's only showing, and I don't even know if it's still showing, but before I left for Orlando, it was only showing once a day in one theater here in Nashville, and I never could make the time work. But I'm hearing that it's better than people thought it was going to be, that it's a pretty neat little close to that franchise. So I'm going to have to get to see it. I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to see it in theater or not because I have a suspicion that it's going to leave the theater before I can, and it may already be gone. I haven't checked. Because I'm not going to have time to get into the theater this weekend. It'll probably be Tuesday or Wednesday next week before I can go again. Clerks 3 is opening nationally. Oh, okay, Andrew. Now the outfit, that movie is so horribly slept on. It's so good. I love single location movies, horror movies, dramas, thrillers, whatever. And the outfit is that. It's mostly a single location shoot. And I loved it. I was riveted to that movie. I agree with you. It's really good. Huh. All right. So maybe Clerks 3 is going to open wider. The thing that's coming next is Kevin Smith is doing an event at the Belcourt here in Nashville, at our local art house theater. You can see the movie and hear a talk with him for like $50. And I'm not into Kevin Smith enough to be spending $50 on that. So if it does open wide and I get more screenings, I will definitely go. This is blasphemy, but I did not like Clerks 1, the first Clerks, that much. Clerks 2, I really liked, though. I did like the sequel a lot. So I'm interested. And I've met most of those guys at different film events over the years, and they're really cool. So I'd love to throw some support to it. So I will see it if it opens wider. That's good to hear. I didn't know that. I thought that it was already open about as wide as it was going to be. So I started the year off with Belfast, this Kenneth Branagh movie. It's a historical drama that I didn't think I was going to care about, but I knew I had to see 100 movies, so I went to see it, and it's incredible. It's out now. It's on physical media. I think it's on some services, on some not streaming services, but rental, like VOD type services. I recommend the Blu-ray because it's worth it to add to your collection. It's phenomenal. So I saw Blacklight also. That's a terrible movie. It's so bad I laughed at it too. It's really fun. It's a really fun bad movie. Like Liam Neeson is just phoning it in at this point. Orphan 2 is on 4K on Paramount. See, that is annoying to me because I think it's only on Blu-ray or on, Blu-ray to buy. And it's going to be a Malignant situation where it's out on Blu-ray now, and then 6 months from now it'll be out in 4K. So I may be holding on that one. If it's streaming in 4K, I may wait to buy it. But yeah, if you have Paramount Plus and you haven't seen Orphan 2, you need to watch that movie. It's ridiculous fun. I did just see, I think that Paramount Plus and Showtime are about to be bundled. Now, I already have Showtime. I actually still have the actual channel, Showtime channel. So I get the Showtime streaming service for free. So I'm hoping that can be worked into my bundle in some way. Biggest disappointment. Biggest disappointment of 2022. Interesting. What is my biggest disappointment of 2022? Because I think a lot of movies I went into expecting and like not expecting much. Yeah, I saw Ambulance. I'll talk about that in a second. That's a tough call. My biggest disappointment because the things that I went into overhyped for ended up paying off. Like X, for example. I really wanted Doctor Strange to be really good because I love Sam Raimi. But I also have not felt good about the MCU since Endgame. So I didn't expect it to be good. So it ended up being above my expectations because the Sam Raimi parts in that movie are so good. Thor: Love and Thunder, I did not like Ragnarok, so I didn't expect much, and it's really bad. Yeah, I feel like the things that I've been hyped for this year have ended up being pretty good. Yeah, maybe Batman, maybe the Batman. I think maybe I was kind of hyped for that, and then to me, it's a 6.5 out of 10. And I know people are going to hate on that because but I feel like there's a fourth, like you have in a movie, you have a 3-act structure, and the Batman has a fourth entire act that we didn't need other than for them to have an excuse to have a big set piece. That's a bunch of, not good CGI. So yeah, maybe the Batman for me. I think it's mid at best. So I'll go with that. Ambulance, oh, cool. Hey, Raised on Fiction, what's up? What's up? Bruce Wayne. Yeah. And as far as Ambulance, I won't say too much about Ambulance except my expectations were very low. It's a Michael Bay movie. And it's as bad as I felt that it would be, but I kind of did have fun seeing a Michael Bay movie in theater again. There's something, kind of fun about his bombastic, garbage piles that are still fun. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to insult it too much if you really liked it, because I know some people really did. I didn't like it, but it was fun to see a Michael Bay movie in the theater again. So I'll say that. Let's see. What is this question? When do you go to the movies, day or night? I like the first showing. So it really depends. It's different. If I'm going with friends, it's always a night. We just go to whatever. But usually when I go to the movies on my own, I'm going for more than one, so it's early. I don't always get the first showing because I'm not a morning person, and a lot of times the first showing here is like 11 o'clock. So I like to go right after lunch. Like I'll do the 1 o'clock ish first show, and then that'll put me being finished around 6, 7 o'clock. That's typically when I go. And I like to, if I can get a day during the week free, I do that because then there are people there, but it's not packed, and it's usually hardcore movie people that are taking the time to go during the week like that. You saw Armageddon, The Island, Bad Boys 2 in theaters. I saw those in theaters also. You know what? The Island is probably Bad Boys 2. I really like Bad Boys 2. I don't care what anybody says. I enjoy that movie. I think it's fun. The Island is probably the saddest movie in your list because the first 30 minutes or so of The Island is a blast. It's a total blast. I really like it. But the minute they get off the island, I think that's when the movie kind of falls apart. That's when it falls apart. Armageddon is all right. I don't hate it like a lot of people do. It's all right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I like the third one too. I did. I enjoyed the third one. The first Bad Boys is the best, but I had low expectations for Bad Boys 3 because one, it wasn't Michael Bay, and that's weird to say, but that's his franchise. And two, they were coming back after a long time, but it ended up being a lot of fun. Now, those two directors, I don't know if they've got anything in their toolbox that's not an homage to another director, because I didn't feel anything unique. I felt they were just trying to riff on Michael Bay as much as they could. So we'll see. We'll see what they do moving forward. So if you guys want to follow my Pushing 100 journey on all these movies, you can do that on the Letterbox. My Letterbox is Culture Smash. I was just going to look real quick and see if there was something that jumped out that was a disappointment, because that's a good question. Something that's a disappointment that I had high expectations for that ended up not working out. It's weird because it really, pretty much everything is on par with what I expected. I'm just sorting now. 2020, 2022. There we go. And let's see. I can tell you what the worst movie I've seen this year so far is. I can tell you what that is. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything here from you guys. Bad Boys 2 had the best action scenes. Agree. I agree. And the thing with the pest control thing where Martin Lawrence is under the house or whatever and there's rats, that's funny. So the worst movie I've seen this year so far is Where the Crawdads Sing. Where the Crawdads Sing is a perfect example of a movie I would never give any time to unless I was trying to see 100 movies in theater this year. So I saw it. I know it's based on a book. You guys, this movie is a piece of trash. It's awful. As bad as Liam Neeson's Blacklight was, this is worse. But this thing is not bad in a fun to watch with cocktails way. It's just a piece of shit movie. It's terrible. The Rock was a decent Michael Bay film. Yes, I agree. I like The Rock a lot. Yeah, I think The Rock is a good 90s action movie. I have no problem with The Rock. It's a good Nicolas Cage movie. Is it churchy? That is a good question. It really isn't churchy. It's more like a really, really bad Hallmark film is what it feels like. I was afraid of that too. I was afraid it was going to be churchy, and I try to avoid those films as best I can. It wasn't. It just is a really, really badly done Hallmark film. I think it's Reese Witherspoon's production company. See, the Batman was okay. You thought the Nolan Batman films were better and more memorable. Agree. I agree. Well, I agree for the most part, except the third one. Third one's not great. Welcome to The Rock. That's funny. Yeah. I mean, The Rock had Ed Harris, right? Wasn't Ed Harris in that? Wasn't he the villain? So it was Ed Harris and Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage. Yep. Let's see. What do we got? Yeah, stay clear for sure. Stay clear for sure. Okay, so Ed Harris was yeah. What did we say? What do you have here? Almost saw Transformers 2 in theaters, but saw the Star Trek instead. You made a good choice. Which Star Trek was it though? Because the first Chris Pine Star Trek was good, the second one was garbage, and the third one that no one saw, directed by Justin Lin, was actually amazing. It had Idris Elba in it too, and it's really good, you guys. If you haven't seen that third one, you should see it. You should see it, because I was blown away, and no one went to the theater to see that movie. Letterbox name, Culture Smash. I'll type it here in the chat also, just to make sure. There you go. Culture Smash. Because I at a minimum give a star rating to every movie I see right after I see it, but usually I try to write a few words about it too, spoiler free. So it's a fun place to sort of keep up with stuff. Oh, okay. I got. Oh, okay. That's related to Twitch. Let's see. Sure. So if you post, let me know if you actually post on Letterboxd. I'll follow you back because I love to see what other people are talking about too. Star Trek: The Chris Pine film. I have Beyond on Blu-ray. Yeah, and Beyond is a pretty good 4K too. It's one of the early ones. Into Darkness was just Wrath of Khan again, except not good. Wrath of Khan is one of the best, pop sci-fi movies ever made, whether you like Star Trek or not. And their rendition of it was pretty bad. It was really disappointing. Yeah. Into Darkness. And I got kind of like suckered by Into Darkness because I saw it in IMAX, and the IMAX footage, these from the battle scenes and some of the action stuff was beautiful. So I came out of that theater having had a pretty good time. But after buying the Blu-ray and watching it again, I was like, okay, yeah, I got suckered by all the glitter because it did not stick well. So, are you guys excited? I know this is off the main topic of the video, but we're just chatting here. Are you guys excited for anything coming up? Let's see. You took your son to see Star Trek. Whoa. Because I wanted to tempt him away from Star Wars. He loved it. So, okay, this is a hot take, but if you take the entire run of Star Trek and you compare it to the entire run of Star Wars, Star Trek has a higher quality ratio than Star Wars. Star Trek has more good movies in its franchise than Star Wars does. 100%. I'll die on that hill. Star motion picture is gorgeous but boring. Yeah, so the Star Trek the motion picture I think is not that good, and it also the director's cut is way too much extra. It's too long. I hated. Fright Night 4K Steelbook looks incredible. Roadhouse 4K. Yeah, okay. So I'm so annoyed because I was busy and then didn't feel particularly good this weekend, and I missed the Vinegar Syndrome pre-order window to get that Roadhouse 4K. But I will be buying it now. I'm just gonna be paying full price. I'm annoyed. Roadhouse is a movie that doesn't you would think wouldn't deserve a premium release, and that's what I love about Vinegar Syndrome. Is they're giving it the full-on, the magnetic clip box, everything. It's going to be a beautiful release, and I enjoy that movie. And some of it is just funny. It's got the weirdest, funniest sex scene that's ever been put on film. And I love Jeff Healey as a guitar player, and he's actually in the movie. So yeah, I'll be picking that up. Hated years ago, and now I like them. So yeah, I've watched some movies that has happened a little bit for me, but more often for me, I've watched movies that I loved years ago, and now I hate them. They don't sit well. That's happened to me actually more often lately. You saw Wrath of Khan when it came out. That's how old I am. I thought it was a bit of a turkey. That's funny. I don't know. I love it. I didn't see it when it first came out, but I have had the privilege of seeing it in the theater many times because my art house theater has shown it a number of times, including a really beat up 35 millimeter film print, which was a lot of fun. Captain Kirk looked like he had a sunburn the whole time. It was great. What are we talking about? It's only $5 difference. Yeah. I would probably like the Fright Night. I might take the Steelbook. We'll just see. Oh, you're talking about the VSU. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's $5 or $10 difference. I'll have to have it. But yeah, I see that it's already marked up to 44, something like that. I'll get it. I love those boxes, like the Beastmaster one and the Cloak and Dagger one. I have both of those. I didn't get the Six String Samurai one because I hate that movie, but I love that packaging that they do. Haven't watched Wrath of Khan since, as I might change my mind on rewatching. I think you should rewatch it. Let me know if you do. It's really fun. I think it's really fun. So torn on the 4K of Roadhouse. Just bought the $15 Blu-ray and can't justify spending the $50. I get you, but I don't know if it makes you feel any better, but there's going to be a ton of extras, and that's going to help. That's going to help me. There's going to be a ton of extras, and that I think that $15 Blu-ray you're talking about, isn't that a Shout Factory release? So it's probably okay, but this should be a much better transfer. Of all the Trek films on Blu-ray, I did get the 4Ks, but in a box set. They have them, and they have all of the Captain Kirk Trek movies in one box, and I'm planning to get that at some point. I need to wait for it to go on sale a little bit, though. It's kind of expensive, but I'll be getting that. I don't necessarily have to have all the Next Generation films because I think they really aren't great. Most of them. First Contact is good. Yeah, First Contact is good. The others are just not that good. So if they do the rest of them, I'll probably just get First Contact in a single 4K and then just get the... And not that all the Captain Kirk ones are good either, because Search for Spock is not that good. The one where they go to the center of the universe, what is that one? It's the fifth one, is not that good. But the relationship between the main characters kind of make it, because the one where they're going to the center of the universe, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on it, is not a particularly good movie, but the relationship between the three main characters is really prevalent in that movie, and I enjoy that aspect of it more than what's in the Next Generation movies. Final Frontier, that's it. Thank you. Final Frontier. Yeah, that 10 film box. I had that 10 film box when the 4Ks got announced. I flipped it because I knew, and I wanted to flip it for as much money as I could get for it while I could still do it. So I flipped it, and I'll be getting the replacing with the 4Ks ASAP. All right, you guys, I should probably wind this thing up a bit on here for more than an hour. Just to show what you guys missed, I did do movie themes. I did movies about movies. Cinema Paradiso. If you guys haven't seen it, you should. Lux Eterna. Make sure you're in a good frame of mind when you watch Lux Eterna. Matinee. Film Worker. Got to put a documentary in there. Oop, bump the mic. One Cut of the Dead. I won't talk about this movie. You just got to watch it. And this one is one that I have to watch, called The Last Matinee. This was a Vinegar Syndrome partner label purchase. And Demons, of course. Got to watch Demons. And from this, I would pick 2 to 3 movies for my movie theme night. Also, Trek 5 brought back Jerry Goldsmith. Yes. And the music in those Trek films is so good. It's so good. Oh, yeah. The Majestic, for sure. For sure. Matinee's a classic. Yes, it is. And hard to find. Still hard to find. All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much for jumping here, chatting with me. I'm going to get back on my Monday night schedule. I promise. And I'm thinking about doing some kind of live stream this weekend. I'm doing my first 12 hours of terror for the month of October. We're doing 12 straight hours. Would you guys want me to set up a camera and just stream everything we're watching? Is that something you'd be interested in? I know it'll get demonetized, but I don't care about that. I never did. So, you saw all the Next Gen films in theater. I did too. Oh, Adon, it's after midnight in Scotland, so I'll turn in as well. Take care, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for jumping in here. Again, after I end this, if you want to put in the comments, if you want to see that live stream, my 12 hours of terror, put it in there and let me know. And we'll maybe throw it up there and let you guys see what we're up to. Anyway, thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one.